Yeah.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holding Court with the Empress West Hollywood. My name is Enoch Miller, your Empress of WeHo, and we're so excited to have you with us today.
Yay.
We want to give a special thank you to our amazing producers, GayLifeLA.com, as well as Kings Road Apartment Homes for the beautiful space you see here today. And a special thank you to my amazing guest, David Hernandez.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
And he is giving us some really cute thirst trap realness with his black and white attire.
Time to go for the checkered look today.
He's looking clean.
Black is slimming.
Black is slimming. But honestly, it's like I really like when it's like kind of a very crisp, especially for fall. It gives you that fun little like winter's in the air.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is kind of a winter-ish. Whenever you get white pants going on, it feels like Christmas is coming.
Well, and it's also very hard to pull it off, but I love that when they have the texture, those like a lot of these
yeah, like the
texture.
ribbed texture.
Ribbed for your pleasure, gentlemen.
If you will. Yeah, yes.
So David, let's start from kind of the beginning, from a womb, and get in there and kind of really just kind of start from the beginning of your life and give people kind of a background of where you came from and grew up. A lot of you people might not realize, but he's originally from Arizona, Phoenix,
AZ. Then I lived in Glendale.
But I was confused with Glendale, LA.
You thought it was Glendale,
I totally
California.
thought it was California.
No. Yeah. So, although I have been here for almost 11 years now, but yeah, I was born in downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
And then from that point, I've lived pretty much all over the valley, like Mesa, Chandler, Scottsdale, but I kind of grew up
all
in
over.
Mesa/Glendale.
Got it.
Which are completely opposite ends of the state, And yeah, so I grew up very humble beginnings.
Because Arizona isn't that far away from LA, and I mean it's kind of on the same kind of plane in a sense of like southern area of the U.S. What do you find kind of are the biggest differences between Los Angeles and Arizona?
Opportunity.
True.
No, I love it. Listen, I love Arizona. Arizona, it birthed me, it raised me. I just think I'm a little like. First of all, I'm a Gemini and I'm an artist, so I need a lot of I need a lot of stimulus in my life, and
no, all of you need a lot of stimulus.
Yeah, all like both the two of us here need a lot of stimulus, and I think that I just Arizona got me ready for what I think I was born to do, which is entertain, and I think if I still lived in Arizona, I don't think the opportunities that I've had thus far would have been presented to me. So I had to get to a city where, this is like the epicenter of entertainment, right?
And especially when it comes to music and that type of entertainment.
Yeah, and acting.
This is very much, especially for television, for live broadcast, things like that.
Yeah.
Online, that's very much, this is where you go to. I mean, if you want to do stage, you go to New York.
You go to New York, right. And I've lived in New York as well, but LA is my home right now. And, but I always pay homage to Arizona for giving me the roots.
And you started off early. You started singing around age 6. I mean, that's and your grandfather kind of took you into your first audition to do all that.
You do your research.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, come through.
I'll do that web search real
research. Yeah, my grandpa was a janitor at a strip mall, and
cool.
I was running around the house at like 6 years old with a blow dryer in my hand or like a brush, trying to singing at the top of my lungs like I was Whitney Houston or Brian McKnight or what Stevie Wonder. My mom would always play these vinyl records, and I just wouldn't shut up. So my mom was like, "Listen, we gotta figure your ass out, kid, because you were acting crazy."
Yeah.
And so my grandfather he worked in a strip mall as a janitor, and he heard of auditions for the Valley Youth Theater.
Wow.
And I want to say I don't know if it was like a week or 2 weeks later, I went in, auditioned. I sang "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston as a 6-7-year-old boy.
Yes.
And I got the part, and that was like everything to me. And that's when like that bug sort of bit me, and I just never really quit after that. It just, once you get on stage and you love doing it, like it just never leaves your mind.
And you dabbled a little bit with music, with theater, and with doing
that's what I started off doing.
Yeah.
My mom is a poet. Like, she loves to write.
Wow.
And so I always saw her writing in her journal and stuff, and I was always singing. So art always kind of ran in the house.
Gotcha.
And then once I did the theater thing, I was just like, well.
And your mom was a big influence in your life because your dad was a truck driver, and so he drove a lot.
Yeah.
Was always kind of out of the house.
He was the bread and butter.
Right.
So he was always he was always gone.
Working.
Because at that time he didn't own his own business, so he was kind of like a slave to, Shamrock Foods or whatever it was. So yeah, my mom was like at home all the time, and my dad did that, and he brought home the butter and enabled me to, to go to college and to do all that stuff.
Which is, I love. So we'll get to college because I love college because it's a kind of an interesting little shift,
right?
So you've done a lot, and also, you were also competing as a gymnast as well too.
Yeah, I did that too.
So very active.
I was just trying to do the most, man. I think I just was so active. You know, my mom was always just trying to keep like calm. You know what I mean? So it was like just whatever we could do to tire him out. So by like 8 p.m. he's out.
He's ready to sleep.
And I still wouldn't sleep. But yeah, so I did gymnastics. I did that for a few years, and that was really, really crazy taxing on like a kid's body.
You did the Grand Canyon Olympics too.
I did, yeah.
Which is, a lot of people don't realize that in that area, that's a big deal.
Hell yeah, it's a big deal.
It's not a little like, oh, it's still, yeah. It's not like just some little Olympics thing. No, it's like Grand Canyon. Those things are.
I literally thought I was like Dominique Mosciano. I thought I was Carrie Strug. Like I legit was Nadia Comaneci, like full out.
The fact that he knows who those are.
No man, listen. I was a diehard gymnast.
Wow.
Like for a few years. Yeah. But then I got tired of it because you know you get out of school and then you go straight to practice for another 4 hours. So you're not really done with your day until 7:30, 8 p.m.
That's a lot.
You know, and you start off at like, 7 a.m. at school. So it just became a lot, and it really wasn't my passion.
Yeah, and so when you went to college, you went to ASU, and you actually majored in journalism.
Well, okay, so my mom's a nurse.
Okay.
So I went to U of A first.
Okay.
All right, so I got a full ride, the Latino scholarship at U of A.
Yes.
All right, but check this out. So I went in there thinking I wanted to be an ER doctor.
Okay.
Why would I ever want to do that? That sounds...
He has the ER doctor TV face. That's what it is.
Oh, right, yeah, totally. I could play a doctor. So I went there, I got the full ride. I get into my first day of chem, and I was like, this ain't.
Yeah.
So then I switched it. I switched that first day of chem to photography. And I was like, well, this isn't one of the prereqs. So then my parents were like, well, what are you doing? So I'm not fulfilling my scholarship, and it was just a mess. So then, like, the first semester, like, I had a girlfriend at the time, and, like, she cheated on me, and so then, like, my grades were going down, plus she was cheating on me, so what do? I moved back home.
Okay.
To be with her. This is fucked up.
Yeah.
And then, I lose my scholarship, I move back home, I apply to ASU, I get in, pay my own...
broadcast journalism.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite, broadcast journalism.
Okay.
I go through that, and then I realized, like, 3 years into it, like, I really want to be a singer. And so I just dropped out. And my grandmother was so pissed.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. What was there, like, a defining moment where you were just like, holy shit, this is, like, because it obviously was a passion growing up, and it was a big deal, a big part of your life growing up. What was, like, was there a quintessential moment or something that said, you were just like, I'm not living what I need to live in order to fulfill who I am as a person?
Totally, yeah. I felt, well, that's exactly what it was. I thought, I'm going to do all these things that textbook tells you to do, right? From when you're a little kid and you grow up, you're going to have this career, you're going to get married, you're going to have X amount of kids, you're going to have this and that. Well, I'd already really broken the mold, so to speak, by not being what my parents and what everyone expected me to be, although they were fully supportive. So I just kind of thought in my head, like, well, shit, like, I want to be happy. Like, whatever that means for me, that's for me.
Right.
And so, but I don't think being a TV anchor or being a field journalist is going to make me happy for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get the joy out of that like I do every time I open my mouth to sing or get on stage or, hear from, like, a fan, like, hey, like, that song really got me through a breakup that stopped me from, committing suicide or whatever it is that helped out with. And I just think music transcends all boundaries and all genres and all shapes and sizes and sexual preferences and ethnicities and stuff. So if I can be a part of something that's that life-changing, like, well, why wouldn't I do that?
And honestly, music is one of those languages that are almost completely universal. I mean, you can not necessarily understand the words and still have an impact from the emotion or the inflection or however the artist is trying to convey through their music.
And music is like smell too.
Yeah.
Like if you 15 years from now you hear like a certain song or you smell like a certain fragrance and it triggers that memory and it like details, right? Yeah. I don't know anything else that does that.
I know so many songs I have associated with like breakups, with happy times, sad times, all these different things. So totally, you're 100% right. It's very much like that sense memory where it's like as soon as you hear like, oh my god, this happened when like I know there's one my parents always said that they heard a certain song every time one of us kids were born, and as soon as one comes on, it's my mom's like, oh my gosh, I was listening to that right before I went into labor with you, kind of something like that.
And it like brings tears to your eyes, right?
It's an emotion. I mean, music is very emotional. I mean, it can connect with people on such a base and raw level at times. And you're right. It just touches people in so many different ways.
It changes things. It changes lives.
And so, okay, you've made the decision. Like, I need to trust my heart, do what I believe is what's going to make me enjoy life and continue living life the way I want to. what did you do next after making that decision?
Well, so that kind of coincided with this guy named Michael Landau offered. I had heard of this audition for a cruise ship for an a cappella quartet.
Ooh, cruise!
And
was that Disney Cruise?
No. It's called Celebrity Cruise Lines.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them. Yeah.
So the audition was for the lead vocalist of Celebrity Cruise Lines.
Okay.
And so it was an a cappella quartet though. So there was like there's 3 other singers in it, and so I
you said all male, right?
Yeah, all male, totally.
Okay.
So that's actually how I met my best friend Sly. Is that we all got together to rehearse, and we rehearsed for a couple of months. This was like, I want to say November of 2004.
Okay.
And then we boarded the cruise ship in January of 2005.
All right, wow.
Yeah, and we did that for about 5.5 months. And then that sort of, so that was kind of my way out of college, essentially, right? Because I was like, well, I'm going to go be a singer. So this kind of worked out, right?
Gotcha. So it kind of was able to get you away, and you were doing almost every day practicing music and singing and all that stuff.
And the semester had already ended, so it's not like I guess technically I dropped out, but the semester had ended. I had completed my.
I was finished.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I just never went back.
Right. So what was, because a lot of people don't realize cruise ships are. First of all, they can be awesome, and they can be nightmare on ocean. So. Yeah. What for you was that a very transformative experience in your life?
Yeah. Oh man, like I was 22 years old. I learned so much about myself. I experimented with a lot of people.
A whole lot of things.
Yeah, I traveled.
We'll do the videos later,
the world ish. This half of the West Coast part of the world. I did like Mexico, Canada, and just like California.
Did you go anywhere like Japan or anything like that? But it was just this.
No, that was later. That was after America. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So this was me being on the cruise ship for 5.5 months straight. Hating everybody I worked with, and they also hated me. You see people every day, and you're just like, God, I can't stand you. And plus, you're in your 20s, so you don't know who the hell you are. You're trying to figure your shit out.
You're angsty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're angsty. You're horny. You're like, totally.
All of it.
Yeah.
So you're done with the cruise ship. You come back to the States, and you're. Assuming living here in LA or living at home?
No, back to Arizona.
So back to Arizona.
First of all, I saved up a whopping $3,000 in 5.5 months. Which is like ridiculous. We obviously throw money away. So I came back to Arizona and I was like, well, $3,000's not gonna last me long.
No.
My rent's already like $700.
Yeah.
So
that's 3 months basically.
That's gone.
Yeah. So what then happened next? Were you like instantly putting your sights toward Idol or something? Was there just...
Well, no, my instant sights were towards how am I going to pay the fucking bills.
Okay.
That was my buddy Cliff, one of my best friends, who's still one of my best friends to this day, he was like, hey, there's these auditions at this strip club called Dick's Cabaret, yeah. And he's like, do you want to go to amateur night and see if we got a shot at getting hired? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, first of all, I've never stripped before, but... let's do it.
When you're Latino, you got that well endowed.
Yeah, we got those moves. So, so anyway, we went into the audition. I think it was like a Tuesday night or something. I think that was or maybe it was Sunday. I don't know. It was like amateur night. And so we went in and I won amateur night.
Wow.
And Cliff came in second. You came in second. That's what you
love
get,
you,
bitch. But yeah, so I won. But we both got hired.
Okay.
And then I did that for almost 3 years.
So like 2.5, 3 years ish.
I did it before I was 24, which is when I did Idol. So yeah, I did it from the age of 22, right when I got off the cruise ship, until about 23 and a half.
Okay.
Because then I auditioned for Idol.
Gotcha. Okay, so
summer
roughly 2.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So what? And again, I used to be. I wasn't. It's nothing like stripping, but I did go-go, and so it's a very. especially that demographic of people that come in through there.
Yeah.
What for you was that kind of formative couple years doing that for you? What was like? What did you learn either about yourself or because I know for me it made me very comfortable in my own skin. Being that kind of you're exposed to everyone almost butt-ass. I was almost butt-ass naked. You were butt-ass naked.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you, and kind of what did it shape in you as an individual?
Well, it gave me a lot of confidence in my body and stuff. Because up until that point, I hadn't really been naked for anybody other than like whoever
the people
I was dating.
Yeah, right.
And then even then, it wasn't like in like the light. You know what I mean?
The
lights were off. And it was, so like when you're stripping, people are seeing different angles, and different crevices that you don't even ever see on a daily basis. So, it gave me a lot of confidence hearing people say like, "Oh, you're beautiful," and blah blah blah. And that was cool. And then it also. made me realize like how fucking judgmental.
Oh yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then how to let that go.
You were your worst own person.
Oh my god, the things that you see in other people are so reflective of what you're giving out, what you have in yourself. And so I realized that you don't judge a book by its cover, because while people saw me as just a stripper in that moment, they didn't know my aspirations behind the scenes, or what kind of family I came from, or like nothing at all. So that was definitely one of the biggest lessons I learned. And also to keep work separate from home. I went in there, I did my job, and I got the fuck out.
Knew, I mean, your family was not like when everyone was just like, when the rumors started coming out during Idol, everyone was just like, oh, well, what about your family? And we were like, my family knows.
I mean, Idol knew about it. Idol had a full disclosure. They do a full background check.
They knew everything.
They knew everything.
Everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, there was no surprises, and everyone's acting like this was some secret that you kept away from everyone. You're like, I'm not advertising, but I'm not, like, it's not something I'm hiding on purpose.
And that's why I find really funny, too, is people are like, oh, you got booted off because Idol sabotaged you. I'm like, that's a fucking lie. First of all, they wouldn't have done the background. If they wanted me off that show, I would have been off before it even started.
Oh, yeah, before you went on audition.
No. Yeah, and they didn't sell the story to Access Hollywood. My manager of the strip club did that.
Yeah.
Who later died from an accidental gunshot. I don't know how that happened.
Karma.
But I mean, so that was totally not a true story. And,
and of course the media is going to take it and shove it whatever way they want to shove it up,
as they do.
So you've gone, you auditioned, and again, American Idol season 7. I mean this is kind of, I think honestly you were kind of right in the middle of the highlight of Idol. People are like, they've had a few seasons and they've really got excited by it. They're really starting to like pay more attention. More people are getting involved watching it. For you, let's start like at the beginning of like audition process and kind of work through and kind of really get through all that, because it's a lot of work. You guys are put through the ringer. And not that we even, just the little part we even get to see, all the behind the scenes stuff. So let's start from the audition process. What was that like for you going through that and getting up into there?
I forgot to mention, I was signed to Universal Records while I was stripping.
Oh, wow.
About a year after I started stripping, I was signed to Universal Genre Records. And that was a really terrible record deal that I had. So right when I was getting out of that deal, I auditioned for Idol. I didn't want to audition for Idol.
Okay.
My manager at the time was like, you really should do it. It's a great platform. And I'm like, no, but it's like a gimmicky show. And I really thought that at the time. And then fast forward now, and I'm like, stupid. Anyway, so
they're coming out of this label.
I was coming out of that, and then auditioned for Idol. And so I went to San Diego to audition at Qualcomm Stadium. And I remember, and by the way, this was the second time I auditioned for Idol, because the first time was Fantasia's season.
Okay.
Which was like 4 years prior, right? Like before I boarded the cruise ship. So I was already kind of jaded from that experience. So I went back in like blah, blah, whatever. I actually had smoked like a bowl before then with my best friend. Because that's how much I cared. I was like, this is never going to work. And so I got up there and I sang, I forgot A Change Is Gonna Come.
Okay.
Sam Cooke. And they were like, yeah, you're going to go through. And then from that point, there was like 4 other auditions in the course of like 5 months.
Oh, wow.
And so I had
Before you even get
the ticket to Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my initial experience.
And what was it like getting up there? Because you said you'd already been there through the previous few seasons before.
Yeah.
What was it like going up the second time and then getting that, not like recognition, but getting that sense of saying, oh my God, we want you.
I was
like who?
Like, wait, are you talking to me? Is that
Ashton Kutcher jumping?
Yeah, am I being punked? This has to be wrong. That's really what it felt like.
Wow.
Plus, I was really high, so I was like, no, this isn't right. They're like, no, David, you're going this way. I'm like, that way is the way. Yeah, that's the people that made it. Cool. Okay, yeah, that was legit how it was. So that was cool.
And so you get up to Hollywood. You're there on stage and everything. What was that moment like for you? Because it's probably a very surreal moment of being almost basically not live, but being there in front of the hundreds of people.
I was shitting my pants. So Hollywood Week is when I realized like, holy shit, like this is bigger than me. This is bigger than a lot of things in my life. This is the biggest thing. And it was with a full band, which I have played with bands my whole life, but like, this was like...
I mean, it's a full-on band.
This was like a full-on band. It's like an American Idol band.
Yeah, it's like American Idol.
Like, they've got to be good. And I mean, sure as hell, like, Michael Orland was the piano player during Hollywood Week.
Wow.
And, I was like blown away because I felt so green, like, going into rehearsal. He was like, It's like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to sing? And then we only had like 15 songs to choose from, and the one I chose was "Love the One You're With" by Luther Vandross. So we rehearsed it, and then I called my best friend Sly, who at the time was still living in Arizona. And I'm like, and so Sly's an incredible singer too, and he's like the one that gave me like all my soul. And he was like, well, I think you should do a couple different things here and there. And so I did them. And when I was on stage, like, oh, you should see my outfit I was wearing. It was fucking terrible. But I mean, yeah, the choices we make. But anyway, so I sang "Love the One You're With," and I was so afraid that day because we had been up for like 3 days, straight rehearsing and stuff. I was afraid I wasn't gonna get out the and the eagle fly, and if you can't be with the one, it was like a big belt, with the one you love, or something like that. And then I came down, I did like a little riff or something, and I was so nervous I wasn't gonna hit it. And somehow, by the grace of God, I did it. And after that, like, Simon was like, "That was the best vote," and Paula was like, "Yeah," and it was just so man, like that moment just kind of like I just went with that ride.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I floated into the clouds.
And then so you're getting through all that. What's kind of like a day to day for you? For all of you there when you're kind of rehearsing, and how long do you guys have? Because it's less than a week. People think it's a whole week. It's less than a week because you guys are constantly like you have to figure out your songs, come up with how you're doing your
get them copyright approved.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is that process like on a 1 week basis of how you kind of got from week to week on all that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how we got through it. I think we went into autopilot at that time. It was like sink or swim. And that was also 10 years ago. So to the best of my knowledge, I believe we had a day of rehearsal, but every day leading up into that point was like press.
Right.
We'd have like a gifting suite or something. We'd have a rehearsal. And then we would submit our songs and have a rehearsal, and then we'd know if the songs got approved after the rehearsal, and then if they didn't get approved, we have to pick another song.
Wow.
And the next day was the live taping, and then the next day was the results and stuff like that. So I remember when I sang "Papa Was a Rolling Stone," it was there wasn't time to like really breathe, and like literally my rehearsal for "Papa Was a Rolling Stone" the night before went until 1 a.m.
Wow.
So and then the next day we had to be there at like 9 a.m. to start getting hair and makeup ready and the interview process. But there's all these interviews going. We're all rotating like this, right?
They don't realize how, especially how early you guys start a day and how late you're basically doing almost like 19, 20 hour days.
It's pretty much.
Almost.
Pretty much. I don't know how it works now, but maybe it's more. Maybe they take the artist's voice into consideration more. But we didn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like.
I feel like
you got 3 hours of sleep.
I feel like you're just go, especially at that point because they're like you said, they're trying to get you with interviews and do all that stuff and get all these like
packages and all the packages and stuff like that. And so it's no wonder like a majority of the people get sick. I mean, I got sick on the show.
I can imagine. Yeah. Well, and plus, I mean, you're stressed. You're straight trying to make sure you're doing so well each week.
And you're worried about your voice. Right. I mean, all of it.
Worried about the votes, worried about what the judge is going to say, worried about making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Make sure like you get the song you want to
get. Along with the contestants. And then someone steal your song.
Yeah. So I can see how, I mean, again, it's a lot of pressure. And especially, you're not young, like 18 or something like that, but still, I mean, you're mid-20s. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on a young man to be like having to be this image that they were trying to portray to all that. And then all this stuff comes in. So you come to episode. Oh, I forgot. I know it's your 12th finalist, but I don't remember what number of episode was. So you come to that episode, and the next
was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Papa was one.
That was top 16.
16.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, and then the next day, if you made top 12.
Okay.
And I made top 12.
Okay.
And then in top 12, I sang "It's All Coming Back to Me Now."
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then the next week was Beatles week.
Okay.
And I wanted to sing "Let It Be."
Oh, nice. Oh, I like that song. It's a good song.
There was only a couple songs left. It was like "Let It Be," and I saw her standing there, and Brooke White drew out "Let It Be."
Okay.
And I saw her standing there.
And
it really sucked because
I know you said it wasn't like you knew you were bottom 3. You just didn't know you would be the one to go.
Correct. Yeah. God, you do your homework,
girl. Yeah. Research.
Yes, research. All right.
I found everything except for the stripper photos. I'm still looking for those. I'll let them know.
You'll never find those.
Never find them.
There was none taken.
We had a conversation.
We had a whole combo about
those. Are all literally destroyed.
I literally paid I told them this before. I paid a bouncer extra money every night that I worked to just look for phones in the audience because I knew that I was destined for something greater than just working in this shitty strip club.
Yeah.
And people are shady. So there was only 2 times in 3 years that the bouncer has snapped a person's phone in half. So.
We'll get him to do some for later.
Yeah, right.
We'll go do Abbey after this. You can see him live from the Abbey.
No, you got plenty of other guys out there that are working hard on their bodies, all for that. Yeah.
So you come to the next day after
I made it
all
to
that.
top 12, and then we get to draw the hat out of the hat for the Beatles songs. And I honestly, I never grew up on the Beatles.
Okay.
I grew up on more like Motown stuff and like Prince, and my mom would play Madonna and Whitney and stuff. So anyway, Aretha.
Yeah.
So this was a whole new catalog for me.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and we only had once again like 15 songs to pick from, and for some
you're
reason
not a very rock kind of
no,
person
on
your sound. It's very more.
I did release a single recently called Shield that is the most rock I've ever done.
Yeah,
but it still has the R&B influence on it. So
it's not. It's. I mean, that just when you David Hernandez rock,
it just doesn't sound right.
It's not your. It's not your temp. It's not your voice, and I just I totally get that. So I can see how it was just kind of you weren't.
It was a little confusing for me.
Yeah,
it was confusing. So I saw a sign there. So what I wanted to do with that song is just break it down acoustically and slow it down. Because I know in those moments when you don't feel like a song necessarily fits your sound, you make it your own, right?
Gotcha.
Break it down, showcase your vocals, which was my strong point. But Nigel said no. Me and Nigel at that point weren't really seeing eye to eye. So I ended up getting up there wearing that cheesy ass vest and snapping and so yeah, I went home. And I'm not necessarily I don't know why I went home. I know the story of me being a stripper broke actually that week as well.
Yeah. It was I think it was the day after or something like that, or like right.
It was before.
It was right before.
It was that Monday. I think Perez Hilton or
I think it was TMZ. I think it was TMZ. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they dropped it.
Perez was like.
Oh no, it was Access Hollywood first, and then TMZ and Perez caught on to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the strip club manager went and sold that story to Access.
Because I remember seeing when I was doing stuff. I saw the TMZ stuff come up first, and then I saw Perez after that. So I didn't see Access. So I missed that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so that comes out. What was the kind of again? First of all, I mean, an LGBT character on a show like that,
an alleged LGBT character. Because at that time I wasn't. Well, but again, it wasn't like I was trying to really hide anything. I just like something that I just wasn't ready to share.
That's what always irritates the crap out of me, that people assume you're gay. It's like, well, no, I'm gay, but I'm a singer first.
Yeah.
I am David Hernandez. Period. Oh, I just happen to be gay. It's not like it's not your defining feature of who you are as an individual.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I'm a very proud gay man. It's just that like at that time. I mean, I would like that to be one facet. I mean, it's not like you know when you meet Ricky Martin, does he say hi? I'm Ricky. Enrique Iglesias. Ricky Martin is gay. When you meet like Enrique Iglesias, like he's not like, hey, listen, I'm heterosexual.
Yeah.
I'm Enrique.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? Okay.
Or like no one else is like, even Ricky Martin's like, hi, I'm Ricky Martin, I'm gay. Like no one does that.
Yeah. So it was weird to me how people were like really putting their focus on that. So when the story broke and then the whole gay speculation started, I just kind of went into like a little shell, and I would talk to my mom, but the media was a frenzy, and so that was really hard to deal with.
Middle America does not treat the LGBT community with such respect, and they kind of really
especially back then. It's come a long way. 10 years ago. I don't think people wanted to see. I mean, in their eyes, it was like, oh my God, is this gay stripper going to be our American Idol?
Right.
I'm not really sure that they were ready for that.
And it was, and again, for a lot of people, it was not Idol. They knew all this going into it. It's not like, again, Idol already knew, so it wasn't that they were like, oh, shocker, we don't want this person to be on American Idol. No, it was. I think people were more scared about it.
That's what it comes down to, really. It's just being scared.
It's the ignorance thing. It's they fear what they don't know, and it's they didn't know you. Other than what they saw on TV, and they started just attacking for this one little piece of information they had that, again, 2.5 years of your life was not like in your entire being of an individual. So it's so weird, but it
defined me according to them.
Yeah, which is so bizarre to me, and so.
But it all worked out.
So coming out of that process and the what happened after Idol, because I mean you still were doing stuff, you still were kind of touring and doing other little things with that. What kind of doors opened up for you because of Idol?
So many.
Yeah.
So many doors. Michael Orland, I have really to thank a lot for that. He introduced me to a guy named Scott Stander, who put me on a tour ballroom with. Well, first Scott Stander put me on a tour.
Okay.
With Diana DeGarmo, Chiquise, and Kimberly Locke, which was the 30 City Holiday tour, and that was. Crap. I mean, that was more exposure than I had seen since Idol.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. That happened about 4 months after the finale of Idol.
Okay.
So I got, I did that, and then after that, Scott hired me to do Ballroom with a Twist, which I did for a good 5 years. And in between then, I released my first solo EP. I opened for John Legend at Barack Obama's inauguration.
John Legend, amazing person to work with.
Oh my God, incredible.
Everyone I've ever said talked to that's ever worked with him, they said he's just such a great guy, easy to work with, and he's fun. He's just like a fun, you enjoy what you're doing with him, so, which 100%. Is great. Yeah.
So I
and
got
Obama.
To see, and then there's the president, or the best president we've had. And then I got to work with people like Norman Lear with the Declare Yourself Foundation, Jessica Alba, Bryan Adams, Donna Summer, rest in peace.
Amazing.
There's been so many. I mean, I didn't know when I started Idol that the real like blessings come afterwards. If you're if you're dedicated and have tenacity and grateful. Mm-hmm. I've learned in this industry that even when you talk poorly behind other people's backs, it just really catches up with you. 2 degrees of separation, literally, in this industry, and you just have to be really careful and just watch your tone, because you never know when that person you're talking shit about is going to be the person that's hiring you the next day. And it's just good to be nice to people, because people are going through their own thing.
And a lot of times, it's like some of these people get this ego, and then they act like they are so above, and it's like when you have that humility, people respect you more for it, and they want to work with you because they know you're going to be a person that can actually work with as an equal, and not like, I'm his slave, I bow down to you, blah, blah, blah.
You have no idea how many people I've met who have done the same sort of reality shows as me. They get off the show and they are so cocky, and you see them fade to black in like 6 months. Right. It's an attitude. If you don't have the right attitude, if you're not thankful for even the little victories, you literally won't get the respect of people. Yeah. People aren't going to want to work with you. So, I mean, that's just, I don't know. That was the true blessing out of Idol. So anyway, back to your point was, I've got to work with so many great people, and I've had the ability for the last almost 11 years to just make music, and that's the only thing that I've done.
And that's what you really, wanted to do. Cool. Exactly.
That's what I always wanted to do. And that's why I said no to broadcast journalism, Grandma. That's why I said, Grandma, I want to make something of myself.
And he did.
And we're still a work in progress, but I'm super grateful.
And you also have kind of doing a little slight detour away from the Idol and the music career stuff, but I mean, you've also have a really amazing story with coming out of addiction and coming out with, because a lot of people don't realize, especially nowadays, and I'm glad it's kind of becoming more and more brought to light by organizations and people as well. I mean, the gay community especially struggles with mental health, addiction, substance abuse, and you had a run-in with alcohol, and it was Xanax, right? It was mostly Xanax. Okay. Yeah, the alcohol didn't really help. Well, it was an additive to that. Yeah. Well, so I mean, let me just get down to really what happens for people out there that might be going through the similar thing, that might wonder how do you fix this, or how did it start. Years and years ago, I want to say almost 11 years ago, I started taking little small pieces of Xanax for sleep. Yeah. And that's all. That was the only intention, because I never thought of myself as a high-strung, anxiety-ridden kind of person. So I started taking that for years and years and years, and I didn't realize as the years kept going by, the dosages went up. Yeah. Because your tolerance went up. Yeah. And it took more and more to help you sleep. More. So there became a time, and this was, I think, I want to say, 6 years ago. Okay. When it got kind of really bad for the first time. Yeah. And I was drinking a lot and also taking Adderall. Okay. That's an upper and a downer. Yeah, it was. I remember going out at times and I had a half Adderall in my pocket and a half of Xanax. Okay. And it was just like, it was like maintaining this balance all the time. And I mean, fucking exhausting. If you're doing it right now, I know you're exhausted. I know you are. You gotta be, girl. Yeah. But so anyway, I was doing that, and it was before New Year's Eve, about 6 years ago, and I was with my best friend, went out to the bars, and I was going through a breakup, and I was drinking heavily. Which never helps with any of that. Yeah, and I don't know why I decided, I was like, I could drive us home. Okay. I got behind the wheel, and I didn't hurt anybody, thank God, but I made a right-hand turn, but I pulled into the left-hand lane, and I was going really, really slow. Yeah. And the cops pulled me over, and I got a DUI, and I went to jail, and I was on house arrest for over 30 days. Yeah. And I did that whole thing, and I had a breathalyzer in my car and stuff. Yeah. And the media, again, grabbed that and ran with that, gave it a mess, and whatever. Yeah. When really, my body was just really I was trying to figure out what is really wrong. Like, is it depression? Is it Xanax? Is it alcohol? Like, what is it? Is it all these things together? So I was just trying to figure out what's eating Gilbert Grape. Yeah. At that moment. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. What is really eating at Gilbert Grape? Yeah. And so then I started getting really introspective. You know, I didn't drink for a good almost a year. Yeah. And then I decided to move to New York. Yeah. And I met somebody, and that was another tumultuous relationship, and
I started, because that was such a emotional relationship, I started taking Xanax again for sleep, because I wasn't sleeping because we were always at each other's throats, and just like, you know, it was just like tumultuous. Plus, New York is a really hard city. It was, this was, I mean,
it's a rough.
It was the coldest winter in 2014 that New York had seen in 10 years.
Oh wow!
So I moved out there with LA clothes, and I was like, I can do this. And like, I lived in Harlem, and then I met this person, then we moved in together 3 months later, and it was just like, froze my ass off. My heart was cold from the relationship, so I started taking Xanax again, and then I moved back to LA. And I stopped. It was like I stopped taking Xanax, and then I started taking it again. But by that time, it had really taken over my life. Like I would have to wake up and take like a bar.
Oh wow!
And then I would go until like 5 or 6,
and
take another one.
Okay.
And then people like my sister and certain people would be like, God, you know, like I put on a good poker face when it came to shows and when it came to showing up for auditions and stuff. I could pull through for those 45 minutes to an hour. But they were like, God, it doesn't look like there's any life in your eyes.
Right.
Like, you look like
you're just here.
Yeah, like where's that witty ass David that you know that spats off with the mouth?
Right.
And I was like, I don't know what you mean, like, you know. And then I heard voicemails back
Oh wow.
of myself, and that changed me.
Wow.
Because when you can see yourself in the mirror like that, and really hear yourself.
Well, especially because your voice is your bread and butter.
That's it. Yeah. It devastated me to the core. So in January, I checked into a facility that helped me
this year, right? Okay.
That helped me get off of Xanax. I slowed down on my drinking, going out, and all that kind of stuff. And I realized when I went and checked into the facility, they were like, "You have been on this for so long. Like, this is really dangerous for you to go cold turkey." Because I went cold turkey off Xanax, which I do not recommend to anybody.
That would just kill your system.
I went through the worst detox There was people in the facility that were addicted to heroin and meth that came cleaner, quicker
than you did.
Than I did.
Wow.
That is fucking crazy. And why it's crazy is because we think, because it's prescription, that you're somehow going to be okay.
Yeah.
If a doctor's prescribing it, you're good to go.
Right.
That is such a fallacy, and I can't be more adamant enough about people that are taking Xanax like it's candy.
Yeah.
Like, there is no... the future isn't bright if you really don't want to change it. Yeah. I could have died from seizures. My heart could have stopped. Like, especially I hallucinated like crazy. Oh, wow. I thought people were trying to kill me. It was crazy. And that's why I work with a mental health organization now to advocate for mental health in youth. Yeah. Because there's a stigma associated with it. And,
very much.
You know, speaking of which, with the LGBT community, I think a lot of the reasons why we do the things we do is because there is this black cloud over mental illness. And
it's not mental illness like, oh my God, you have like schizophrenia or something like that. No, mental illness just means it's something that affects you on a mental level.
Correct. Yeah. Whether it's depression, anxiety,
all this stuff.
Whatever it is. And I think we're more prone to it because we've suffered a lot growing up with our sexuality, with our identity and stuff. So it's easy when you get to a city like this where things are at your fingertips to self-medicate, right? To make yourself feel better. And a lot of people have been sexually abused, have been molested, have been abused in general within the community. And I just think it's really, really, it's really sad.
It's an easy escape, it really
is.
Right,
and it's really sad that that help hasn't been as readily available as it should be. And there's been this stigma associated with like, oh, if you're depressed, then you're fucked up, or you're a degenerate. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
you don't know. Again, it's like goes back to you don't know what I've been.
That's why people are dying, because they don't feel like they're not comfortable coming and asking for help. Right. And that's really why I tell this story, is because I felt kind of ashamed. You know what I mean? But thank God I have people behind me that were like, David, like, you can do this and still get back to doing what you love. Exactly. Just take some time. Right. And so I did that in January because I knew the gig slowed down. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, let me just get in here.
Right. You know? But I think half of it, you're right. It's the support. It's obviously, like, again, asking for the help you need with the right people, asking that help from whoever it needs to be. And I really, if anyone can see, Impulse Los Angeles put out a video series called Gayish. And if you've ever seen it, it really talks about this issue of just like going out and partying too hard. I mean, it's like they don't say don't have fun, but be smart, know what you're doing. If you're doing things like this and you're like over medicating, or like, you just be careful. And through the process of the videos, you see a person passes away because of it, and it's Alaska Thunderfuck's in it, and she does an amazing speech at the end about we need to watch out for our brothers and sisters of knowing and say if you see the signs, and it could be suicide, it could be substance abuse, I mean over drinking, things like that. I mean, just know and look out for each other. And if you see something, say something. Don't be an asshole, but it's like also just say, hey, I mean, do you need to talk, like things like that?
Yeah, 100%. And you never know how that can change somebody.
Right.
I had a friend the other day where I reached out to this person and I just said, hey, I saw you the other night and I'm kind of worried about you.
Yeah.
And this person was like, I didn't think anybody gave a fuck.
Wow.
Thank you so much for, and yeah, let's have a conversation about it. We still haven't had a conversation because but I put it out there.
Yeah.
And
at least he knows someone cares.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, listen, I see you.
Right.
I see that you're not right now.
Yeah.
And I know how you are normally, but just so you know, I'm here to help. Whenever you're willing to come for help, I'm here.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. It's the same thing. Totally. You can just at least them knowing that you're there as a support system in some way, shape,
It means a lot.
It means the world.
It means
sometimes.
so much. Yeah. Especially in a city where we're all kind of caught up in ourselves.
Totally, we're all narcissists. But if New Now Next did an amazing article with you on this, so if you want to go check that out on Logo, it's a really great article, and you have some some really great pointers in that about just being very open and raw about it, which I feel like more people need to just. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and he's better for it now. So it's a great thing to have, and I love more stories like this of people showing, hey, things do get better. If you look for the right help, you can find it. And again, coming out stronger and better.
I've actually had promoters and people that have booked me that have said, like, thank you for sharing your story because I went through something with like crystal meth or with heroin or with whatever. And while yours is prescription drugs, it's sort of like the same sort of addiction thing. And like I always say, like, we literally were put on this planet to learn from each other.
Oh, totally.
Right? We're a huge community, and I feel like when you share your story, you're totally helping yourself and other people. Right. You know what I mean? So to go through, I mean, I don't know half the shit that I know. I went to, for example, this is a really stupid example, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So I live in like this little like bungalow, like duplex thing, and our washer and dryer broke, right? I've had that washer and dryer in there for like 4 years. Well, it's my roommate's washer and dryer, whatever. I've been used to that. And then before then, when I lived like in the other spot here in LA, we had one for like 6 years, right? Within the unit. So I had to go to the laundromat for the first time a couple weeks ago. The first time in like, I'm talking like 20 years.
Yeah, forever.
This is going to sound really stupid. So I get in the laundromat and I was like, so I know you wash like whites and darks separately, but like to save money, can I throw them both in the same dryer and like have the colors not bleed? And the guy just looks at me like, yeah, that's fine.
You're pretty.
But it wasn't. But here's my point in this, and this is why it's a stupid fucking analogy.
I love it.
This is why it's so dumb. But my point is like, don't be afraid to ask questions or ask for help. Like, even though you think it's stupid, like, someone has to ask the damn question. Yeah. We don't know everything. Right?
And someone's gonna know. That's right. It's like when you don't know, ask.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, really, anyone that says that there really is no dumb questions. Unless you're just being an idiot, that's a different story. But I mean, if you're legitimately, you don't know, it's not a bad thing to just ask.
Moral of the story, you can get help and you can wash darks, or you can dry darks and lights together. Because the colors will bleed in the washer, not the dryer, you dumb bitch.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So, talking about getting out of this into bigger and better things.
Yes.
So excited for Kingdom, the mixtape. 20 songs, which, I mean, I love the cover, badass cover with the crown.
Thank you.
Crown it.
Yeah.
And there was also the like kind of robot arm.
Robotic hand, which is like the industry, then the crown is like whatever you built for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and again, it's almost like building your empire. I mean, it's like building your...
We all have our own empires, you know what I mean?
For sure. So what was this like putting out this? I mean, again, that's 20 songs is a lot. I mean, that's no easy feat because most albums usually are only like maybe 12 with a few extras on the back end, like 20 plus another 3 that are, you said 2 were acapella,
and then one's a cover with me and Rajiv Dahl, YouTube star, doing Haley Steinfeld's Starting.
Yeah. So I mean, again, so basically in total 23 songs.
Yeah.
What the hell was that like? Because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I had done it in like a 3-month time. I actually never intended on putting out this mixtape.
Okay.
It was a culmination of songs from like all the way from like 12 years ago up until like 2 months ago.
Okay, so this has been a process that you've been working on.
Yeah, but not a conscious process. Okay. I never really thought I would put all these on one record.
Okay.
And then I turned around one day, I woke up and I was like, I haven't put out an album in like 6 years, and I'm bored.
But I love the fact that you do it, like, again, like a mixtape. Like, it's this fun, you get all your favorite songs together.
So, like, there's no real, like, congruent theme. It's just a bunch of different writing styles, musical styles, sonic sounds, like, different styles over the last, I mean, like, in 12 years, like, you change as a person. So, but all of it, surprisingly, when I listened down to it, had, like, a lot of similarities. It still was all my voice, and it still had soul and, a lot of like similar topics and stuff like that.
So when you started to put this together and actually think about how, again, like you said, I haven't done one in 6 years. I want to do an album. What was your initial perspective of going into this, saying, okay, how am I going to start to kind of put all these different things together, and what songs do I want to choose, all that stuff? So how did you kind of get it into the starting phase of all this?
Well, I just kind of went on to both of my I had an old laptop and a new laptop, and I went on to both, and I like transferred all the music over to one, and then I hit my mom up, and I know she has like every song I've done since I was like a little kid. So I'm like, what songs do you think that I should put out? And she sent me like 3 of them, and from that point, like I just kind of put them all in order, and then me and my best friend Brian, we kind of started like ordering them.
Okay,
and
like
whatever.
Chronologically ordering them, or
no, just like by sound.
Oh, by sound.
By
okay,
sound.
okay.
So like the beginning of the record starts off with the most recent stuff, which is I do with my friend Eddie Wall and Daniel Bronstein, Battle Cry.
Okay.
Battle Cry into Beautiful, into Kingdom, and then into Shield, You're My Future Self. Those are all, except Beautiful, have been recorded with Eddie and Dan.
Okay.
That's like the most recent sound.
Gotcha.
And then we kind of transition to the stuff I did with Prince Board from Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
And then we go from there into like the dark phases of like Break and Half of My Soul and Never Did and all that.
Those are some like raw ones.
Those are like in the thick of it songs. Yeah. Those were like, that's when I had like the ankle bracelet on and was like really like trying to power through life and figure out. Well, like,
and so was this stuff you were writing at the time during those phases?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So this is stuff you had all kind of in your repertoire of different things, but it never said, "Oh, I'm going to put this out."
No, because every time I recorded a song, I always had like some manager behind me or some agent behind me or like some like weird publishing deal or label or some botched ass deal, and they'd always be like, "Just wait for the new photo shoot," or "Wait till it's like remixed." And so then, like, since the beginning of my fucking career, I've just been waiting until the right time to, like, really be that marketable dude. And it's like, all just a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's just like, man, like, I think I was watching Halsey in her interview the other day, and, you know, she's super successful. I love her. And she said
her last stuff has
Without
been
Me.
Really good.
She was talking about Without Me, their most recent single. And she said she went to her manager. She's like, I have this really great song, but, like, I don't know when to put it out. And God bless them, because they go, what are you talking about? Just put it out. Yeah, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what my mentality was. You know, when I did this, I was like, I just want to get this shit out because I think it's important to me, and I know there's somebody out there, if it's just one person, somebody out there that's going to feel like one of these songs is important to them. Yeah. And that's what I'm here to do. Like, I'm here to make music and touch people, not just sing other people's songs. And so that's really why I put it out. And then when I hit up my graphic designer, Stephen Lind, I was like kind of telling him about like how I felt about the industry and like how I felt about how like I feel like I work really hard, and a lot of the stuff you work really hard for, you don't really get recognition for. And so I sent him this like sort of mock thing of this crown that I saw. It was like an all black crown.
Oh, okay.
And then he sent me back that, which is why Stephen does what he does.
I was like, it's beautiful, and it's like, I'm gonna get Stephen to make me one. It's like, you can just like put it on the jewel, send it over. I have one that looks similar to it, which is funny. When I saw the cover.
You should have wore that today.
Yeah, I like this one. This is my cute one. This is my newest one, and I like it because I get to look a little like it's the straightest I've ever looked.
Oh shit!
It lasts a lot of fun.
Mask for mask.
As she points her toe. But I do, what I really like about this too is that it really kind of tells the story of your life in a sense, and it kind of breaks down your entire music experience from almost start to finish, really. Yeah. And I love the fact that you kind of staged it that way towards those different features of your life. So when you're going to putting this all together, you're like, did you have to go in and like completely redo a lot of them, or was everything pretty much the way you wanted it?
I didn't redo them on purpose.
Okay.
I didn't go in and pay for someone to mix them all, master them all down the same.
Okay.
They were what they were. I didn't want to go through any more hassle of waiting for people to get back to me.
But some of these older ones, did you like the songs themselves? Did you go in and be like, ooh, I wanted to tweak this, that, or they were ready to go?
No, they were ready to go.
Okay, which, I mean, that's awesome.
They're as is, like and there's some things where you might think like, oh, that sounds dated, or that lyric doesn't apply to now, but that was the whole point. It's a mixtape.
Exactly. And I love that, and I think that's what makes it work so well, is because it's you have it titled as mixtape.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You pull a little bit from here, a little bit from there.
You know who inspired that for me though? Was JoJo.
Oh, really?
Because she put out a couple of mixtapes, I believe.
That's
one of
true,
which was Agape. And I remember listening to it, and the songs, most of them don't really sound alike.
No.
And I thought that was really dope. I'm like, if she can fucking do that, like, why can't I do that? Like, why can't anybody do that? Like, that's so cool.
Totally
you can just throw shit together and be like, and let people have their own experience with it. Not every album has to be a concept album, you know?
Which, exactly. And I love it now because I find more people are doing, if they do something like one of my favorites was when Troye Sivan did his first 3 that were a story and told a story.
Yeah.
And it made sense with all those 3. But after that, he hasn't done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And now they're all kind of that. And I love that you kind of did it like that, where it's just like, you're going to go on this journey with me of all these different kind of parts of my life in a sense, and
you can just literally play it. It's an hour and a half long. You can literally lay in bed, play it, and then pick it up later. And for $9.99,
that's really good though too. And for all that,
I mean, I'm just saying. Normally these days, when an artist put out a record, you get like 10 songs.
Oh, exactly. It's so and then honestly nowadays they're hardly ever putting out any more full albums because they're doing like an EP here, an EP there, like they're whatever.
Which is smart for financial reasons and stuff too. And in my case, I guess where I lucked out is that like the tracks had already been recorded, so it really only cost me like I paid my graphic designer, and then I paid to have it put up on TuneCore.
Right.
And then I mean that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then a lot of the stuff that I wrote with like Eddie and Daniel, we also write for film and television.
Oh, okay.
So like it's also being shot to that. So
gotcha.
I had their blessing to put all that stuff on.
Which is great that they were really good at that. So that's
they're great guys.
So now, I mean, now that that's all together, are you wanting to do like a year break? Like, do you have an idea of where you want to go from here up to the next point? Like, do another album in a couple years? Not like break, but before you do another album.
Honestly, it's so funny. I was in the studio last week and I recorded another song with Eddie, which I can't use because it's for a feature film.
Darn.
But it's such a dope song. I want to put it out now. So so I just put out Kingdom, but I really want to drop this one as like the new single. And other people, I mean, Ariana just dropped a single after Sweetener.
So say,
but
like you said, do whatever the hell
I want. I do the fuck I want. Like I don't have a thumb of a label. Although I would like their money, but I don't have a thumb.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have a set plan. I definitely don't want to wait as long as I waited again.
Yes.
I would
6 years. That's a lot.
And it's a long time, and I don't have that time. So I would really realistically like to put out something next year again, like either maybe like an EP or another full length. It just depends on where the cards fall and what I do between now and then.
Yeah. And do you feel like you want to just continue for the future of David Hernandez, be a little bit more consistent and like putting stuff out regularly?
Yeah, no, totally. I would love to be more out there.
Gotcha.
I think I waited so long because I didn't have the balls to tell the people that were telling me to wait, to move forward.
Like hell no.
Yeah, but now that I've done this and like I realize I do have a pretty solid like fan base. I think there are people out there, and it really inspires me that there are people out there that are waiting to hear some new stuff from me. And that, because there's nothing worse than like
stagnation, and then it's like after that long, no one's like, oh, David Hernandez, who? The fact that you have such a following and that they're still so faithful after this long, it's great that you have that.
That's really cool, and I'm very, very blessed and thankful for that.
Yeah. Thank you, people. We love you.
We love you.
We love you, Yay! So they can find all of this on.
It's everywhere. It's all good. So you got it on like Spotify,
all of that. Okay.
Apple, Tidal. I mean, it's everywhere. Google Play, Amazon.
Perfect. So go to davidhernandezofficial.com. So you can probably just download it there, right?
Yeah. There's a link there.
Oh, there's a link to it. So you can definitely. So David Hernandez.
There's a new music video. Shield is out right now.
I saw that one.
Get that.
Shield and
on YouTube.
Beautiful. Those are the two that are on there right now.
And we're in the process of recording Kingdom, the new video for that.
That's gonna be badass.
I'm excited for that.
When do we think that might be able to be dropped?
I'm thinking sometime probably like spring.
Okay, so beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So 2019, people, for spring, we're gonna have Kingdom, and then definitely I'll share that shit to the heavens because that's really exciting. Holla.
Bend and snap.
I do it so well. Because this boy is just kidding. Bottom. We subscribe to the Will and Detox and Vicky edition
oh my god.
This boy is
that's a hilarious.
That's my favorite.
Oh my god.
And when Willem does es una pasiva. Thank you.
creativity behind those gals.
Oh my gosh, Lordy. And we cannot wait for Drag Race Season 4 All-Stars. But I'm, again, so excited for Kingdom, the mixtape, Kingdom, the mixtape. I'm so used to saying the mixtape because it says mixtape and then it's a Kingdom and then
Kingdom,
the mixtape. So again, 23 beautifully put together songs, and again, so excited for that. Download your copy now for $9.99. What is that? I said $9.99. I said $9.99. So go to davidhernandezofficial.com and check that out, or D Hernandez Official.
No, well, D Hernandez Music on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, Instagram, D Hernandez Music, and I'm pretty good at responding to people. And David Hernandez Official for the website.
Yes. So, well, want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be on here. Thank you so much.
Such a blast. And yeah, check them out across all social. And we want to say thank you to GayLifeLA.com for everything they do for us, as well as Kingswood Apartment Homes for the space you see today. Tune in next week. We'll have some fun. We'll be going over the Advocate Magazine's documentary in regards to 50 years of LGBT activism. So you don't want to miss the creators with that. We're going to be talking about gay history, realness.
Hey.
So from, 50 years, I mean, that's a lot of work to cover. So, but the community's done a lot. So we're really excited to have that. So tune in next week. Again, thank you, David, so much. Check him out. And then we'll put some more information for you guys to check out with David as well on this information below. So thank you guys. We'll tune in next week. Bye.